Okay, let us now understand certain more things about inter-head adjustment. Okay, now the first question that comes up is, what do you mean by inter-head adjustments? In the previous video, we saw that if there were some losses under the head PGBP, so you had PGBP, you have business A, whereas there is a loss of 500,000, B, where there is a gain of 600,000. And let's say there's another business C where you have it for 200,000 of losses. So on a net basis, assuming this set off is available, I had a loss of 100,000 under the head PGBP. Okay. Now the question comes up, if suppose I have this loss and let's say I also have gains under other head. Okay. Let's say I have a gain of 1,50,000 under some other head of income. I'm not naming out the other head here because these set off are governed by certain conditions, which we will see when we discuss the carry forward of losses for PGBP. So what happens is that this loss under one head of income is allowed to be set off against income from other heads of income. So this becomes inter-head adjustment and is dealt with in section 71 of the Income Tax Act. Okay. Of course, there are certain exceptions in which cases you can't set off a loss under one head with a profit of some other head. So what are those conditions and restrictions is what we are going to see. But principally, conceptually, you are allowed to set off the net loss under one head against income from other head in the same assessment year. This is what is dealt in within section 71. So we are dealing with the set off of losses. Now with this background, let us read this, where the net result for any assessment year under any head of income is a loss. So the net result for any assessment year means what? After adding all the profits and reducing all the losses under a particular head of income, let's say we did that for profits and gains of business profession under any head. So now we are talking about head of income. In section 70, we were dealing about source of income. The assessee shall be entitled to have the amount of such loss set off against his income assessable for the same assessment year under any other head of income. So there was a loss under the head PGBP. You are entitled to set it off against other incomes subject to the following conditions. Okay. So the first condition comes in the case of speculation loss. So a speculation loss can be set off only against the profit from the speculation business. So if you have a speculation loss, you can't set it off against any other income. Next is loss from owning and maintenance of horse races. If you have any losses under this, you cannot set it off against any other income. It has to be set off against profits from the activity of owning and maintaining racehorses. Third, capital loss. Now capital loss can be set off only against the profits under the head capital gains. So if you have a capital loss, you can't set it off against business income. But vice versa is permissible. So that we will see as we discuss these things more in detail in the subsequent slides. Next is PGBP loss. Losses under the head profits and gains of business and profession cannot be set off against income under the head salary. So you can't set off the losses under the head PGBP against salary income. Okay. Now let's see the last line. The last line basically says that the assessee has an option to set off in desired order of priority where there are more than one sources of income. Now what does this mean? Let's say amongst these other heads, I'll just remove it. So let's say you had loss under the head PGBP. Let's say under source 1 there is a profit of 50,000. Under source 2 you have a profit of 100,000. When I say source, I mean the head of income. Now you have an option that you can set off this entire 1 lakh against this, or you can set it off 50,000 against this and 50,000 against this. So this option is entirely at the discretion of the assessee. Okay, there is no compulsion that you have to set it off against any particular head of income. You may set it off as you may desire.